Borders can be placed around text and the entire page of a document. We use the shading command to fill various shapes with color as well. The page borders command can also be found under the Design tab. Open Microsoft Word to a new blank document and type the following words: digital immigrant. Now that you've typed this, click on the borders icon. Notice there is a down arrow. Click on the down arrow and then move all the way down to borders and shading. Now notice all of the options that we have here. We can set a box around our text. We can do a shadow. We can do 3D, customize it. A lot of different options here that we have to choose from. The first tab here, notice borders. This is designed for like text or paragraphs that perhaps we want to put a border around. Perhaps you are creating a newsletter or a flyer. And so in this case, we can click box. And there are other options in here as far as the style of the border that will go around the text. So we can click any one of these. So I'm going to select this one. And then the color, this color, the shading, can also be found under this particular tab as well. But we're going to use it here. Click the drop down and just choose any, whatever shading you want. It doesn't matter as far as the color. You can also change the width, which I'll change the width here as well. And then you can click OK. So now notice now we have a border going around our text. However, we need to center the text. Click on the center icon, and now we've centered our text. We can also add, again, shading from the shading icon located here. You click the drop down, and notice when you hold your cursor over some of these colors, the various colors will appear. And just click on any color that you choose. So that's how you put text or place text around, or place a border around text in your document. But what about placing a border around the page of the document? Let's go back to the borders icon. Click the down arrow, go all the way down to borders and shading. This time we're going to click on the page border. And I'm going to choose box again. And let's just go with the double line. And you can choose the color. If we want to try to use the same color we did before, it's up to you. You don't have to necessarily choose art. I would be cautious about this, especially when it comes to printing out a document with a border around it. And I'll show you how to fix that in just a second. So let's click OK and see what that looks like. So there's the border going around our document, and it looks great until we try to print this out. The problem that comes into play is this bottom border is going to be outside of the print area. That's why when you try to print this out, it will cut off. It will not appear in your document. But the way we can fix that is easy, and you have to make some adjustments and play with it. We're going to go back to that borders and shading, and then we're going to go to page border and go all the way down to options. And again, you have to play with these numbers. Since the bottom is the problem, let's try to increase that number and see what happens. See if we can bring that border up, or we can always bring the borders in closer all the way around, top, bottom, left, and right. Click OK, and then click OK again. So notice that border did come up just a little. However, it looks a little different from the top. There's a gap here. Notice that is much larger than the gap at the top. Again, it's all about playing with the numbers to see exactly, is this going to work? Will this work for my printer? And so, you know, you may want to increase the numbers and see if that'll do it. It all depends. And we're going to try to increase them and see what happens. And it'll probably draw it in even closer, and there it is. So I increased the numbers, and obviously if you notice, I'm going back to it again, the highest that you can go in this case was 31 point. And I'm doing it from the edge of the page. You can also change it to the text as well. And let's try that at 15 all the way around. And then click OK. And then click OK again. And notice that brought it in even closer, which is great. And I can pretty much guarantee you, if you try to print this out, the bottom border will appear at this point, because now it's well within your print dimensions as it relates to trying to print this document out. And so you can even pull this in as well. You can change this, the border that we put around the text. You can come here and play with these numbers as well. And so that's how you perform basically borders and shading in Microsoft Word.